Okay, so we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into accounts receivable financing. We've covered a lot of ground, but I think the million-dollar question for our listeners is this the right move for my business?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? And there's no easy answer. It's not a magic bullet.
Right? Tool. I like that analogy. A tool can be incredibly useful,
hmm
but only if you know how to use it properly.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
before you even think about applying for accounts receivable financing, you need to take a long, hard look in the mirror
Okay.
at your business and ask yourself some tough questions.
All right, I'm ready for that reality check. What are those crucial questions I need to be asking myself?
Well, first and foremost, how healthy is your business?
Mhm.
Really? Are you consistently profitable? Do you have good margins?
Because we've talked about how accounts receivable financing can be expensive.
Right.
If I'm already struggling to make ends meet, those fees could really push me over the edge.
Exactly. And remember, this is not free money.
Right.
It's an advance on payments you're already owed,
Right.
and it comes with a cost.
What's the next big question I should be asking?
Think about your customers. Are they reliable payers?
Okay.
Do they have a good track record of paying your invoices on time?
Because if my customers are constantly late with payments, or worse, defaulting on those invoices, that risk ultimately falls back on me.
You need to be confident in your ability to collect on those invoices, even if a third party is involved.
Okay, so financial health, customer reliability. Got it. What else should I be considering?
Ask yourself, what's my goal here? Why am I even considering accounts receivable financing? Am I trying to fuel rapid growth? Take my business to the next level?
That's a great point. My motivation for using this type of financing is really going to have a big impact on which type I choose and how I approach it.
Exactly. Maybe your goal is to bridge a seasonal cash flow gap or smooth out those peaks and valleys in your revenue cycle.
Right.
Or maybe you just need some breathing room to focus on strategic initiatives without constantly worrying about making payroll.
So understanding my why is crucial before I even start looking at options.
Absolutely. And finally, remember what we talked about earlier. Do your research.
Right.
Don't just jump at the first offer you get.
Shop around.
Shop around, compare rates and terms, and make sure you're comfortable with the lender's reputation and practices.
It's all about finding the right partner, not just the cheapest deal.
Exactly. Okay, so let's say you've gone through this self-assessment. You've answered those tough questions honestly, and you've decided that accounts receivable financing is the right move for your business.
Okay.
What's next? What action steps should you take?
Let's get tactical. What's the first thing I need to do to get the ball rolling?
First things first, get your financial house in order.
Okay.
Lenders are going to want to see a clear picture of your business's financial health.
So that means gathering up all my financial statements, tax returns, and making sure my bookkeeping is squeaky clean.
Exactly. They'll want to see organized records
Right.
and a clear track record of responsible financial management.
No more shoving receipts in shoeboxes.
Nope.
Okay, so financials are in order. What's next?
Next, start researching potential financing providers. Remember, this is a partnership. Take the time to find a lender that specializes in your industry, understands your specific needs, and has a reputation for good customer service.
And don't be shy about asking those tough questions
Yeah.
during that vetting process.
Absolutely. Once you've narrowed down your options, it's time to prepare your application.
Okay.
This is where you gather all the necessary documentation, things like your business plan, financial statements, tax returns,
Yeah.
and of course, that detailed breakdown of your accounts receivable.
So it's basically showtime. I need to present my business in the best possible light and be prepared to answer any questions they might throw at me.
Right, and remember, transparency is key.
Yeah.
Be upfront and honest throughout the entire process.
Because trying to hide things or fudge the numbers will only come back to bite me later.
Exactly. And finally, if your application is approved and you secure the financing, remember everything we talked about earlier. Manage it responsibly.
Right.
Track your invoices diligently, make your payments on time, and maintain open communication with both your lender and your customers.
Solid advice. So to wrap things up, accounts receivable financing can be a powerful tool for businesses that use it strategically and responsibly. But it's not a decision to be made lightly.
It's not. It requires careful planning, due diligence, and a clear understanding of those risks and rewards.
Well said. I think we've equipped our listeners with all the knowledge they need to make informed decisions about accounts receivable financing. Any final words of wisdom before we sign off?
Just this knowledge is power. The more you understand about your financing options, the better equipped you'll be to make choices that support your business's long-term success.
And that's what the deep dive is all about. We've gone from ancient trade practices to modern financing platforms, all to help you navigate the complex world of accounts receivable financing.
Remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving.
Right.
And sometimes that means getting creative and finding innovative ways to access the capital you need to grow and achieve your goals.
Beautifully said. And if you want to explore this topic even further, be sure to check out the show notes for additional resources and links.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.